Hi everyone, my name is Barbara. You can call me Mrs. God if you like. So today, our topic is going to be taken from Second Corinthians chapter 5, verse 10. So I was reading Second Corinthians chapter 5, and when I got to verse 10, something jumped at me. And once again, it's with regards to relationships and marriages that I would like to, talk about here. So I want to zoom in and then just give you the word. So Second Corinthians chapter 5 verse 10 says, "For we must all stand before Christ to be judged. We will each receive whatever we deserve for the good or evil we have done in this earthly body." Once again, the statement that jumped at me here is, "For we must all stand before Christ to be judged." So I'm shooting my arrow towards relationships and marriages. So I'm speaking directly or specifically to cheating spouses or partners today. Okay, so hear me out. I'm talking to myself, I'm talking to you, I'm talking to him, I'm talking to her. We can all be victims at any point in time. Okay, something can happen and you might end up finding yourself in that kind of space, even if you don't plan it. Okay, so we all listen to it. No points, no fingers here. But if you're a chronic cheat or whatever we call it, let me sound something to your ears today. So we read from Second Corinthians chapter 5 verse 10 that we all will stand before God and be judged. So most often when you are cheating on your spouse, you realize, or your partner, you realize that you are the one enjoying the game. Even though it might be, daunting and it's more of an entanglement if you look at it critically, because you are the one trying to hide every single thing. You no longer have freedom. You can't even be transparent. You're always lying. You're always in a tight space and corner. You're always looking behind you, like over your shoulders. And I don't even see the freedom that comes in that kind of lifestyle. First of all, let me make this statement clear once and for all. If you know that you are that kind of person who cannot stay with one person and you want to be having multiple partners, which I call lack of control of your lust. Any person can call it whatever, but this is what I call it. So I'm just presenting to you from my opinion or my perception. I call it lustfulness. So if you're not able to control that, you might end up, having multiple partners. And so if you know you are that kind of person who is refusing to control himself, please do not engage anybody's daughter or anybody's son. Please, for God's sake, God's name and his sake, please do not engage in anybody's daughter or son. Talk less of marrying them, because marriage will expose your incapabilities. It will expose or magnify your shortcomings. Okay, so first of all, you must try as much as possible to deal with it at least 70%, because and maybe by God's grace, as you walk down the journey of marriage, hopefully you see, we see the maturity and the progress that would be demonstrated as time goes on. But if you know that you're the kind of person who has made up your mind, I'm not going to engage with one person. I'm that kind of person. I want to have multiple partners. Please do not engage anybody's daughter or son. Please do not go into a committed relationship. If you want to have a committed relationship, just make sure that you communicate that kind of your agenda to the person, and make sure that that person is in alignment with whatever you're trying to do in a relationship. So when you begin to exhibit such characters, the person doesn't feel betrayed or hurt, or other things will come in. So make sure that you are in a relationship with somebody who also wants to have multiple partners, who also wants to engage in polygamy, who also wants to do whatever you are doing, so that when you are engaging other partners, he or she is also engaging other partners, then everybody comes home and then we all wipe them out. But if you're engaging somebody whose agenda for the relationship is to be faithful, to have transparency, honesty, some kind of friendship, then that person is the wrong partner or spouse for you. Okay, but aside that, what I want to even talk about is that don't forget that whatever you are doing, if you are in a relationship where that is monogamous, that is supposed to be monogamous, or where you have both agreed to be together and to stand for each other and everything, and along the line or even before that, you are engaging other people and you are having fun, your partner asks, "Where are you?" And "I'm at the supermarket," but they are with A, or you're with B, whoever you are with. You're changing numbers. You're having multiple phones, and then talking to this person here, talking to that person here, but you bring only one phone home. Or you know that the schemes and then the tactics and everything. If you are doing all of those things, don't forget that at the end of the day, you're going to account for your own life. You are not doing your partner, you're doing your own self, because the act is being committed by you. And before God, you have told God that this is going to be a relationship of full of faithfulness, because you stood before God and you said, for better or for worse, for richer or for poor, it's just you and me. Faithfulness, we're going to be faithful to each other, we're going to be this, you've said all those things to each other here and there in your heart and everything, but at the end of the day, you're exhibiting a different thing together. Don't forget that there's a covenant that has already been established before God, because you didn't go before God and saying that you're going to be before God and said that you're going to have multiple partners. You didn't tell your partner that you're going to have multiple partners. So God, in his own wisdom and from your understanding, from what he is seeing here, is that you have agreed to be with your wife or your husband in that kind of relationship. So once you begin to defy it, even to your wife, to your own self, and most importantly to God, you are committing sin, and that's what we call adultery. Or even when you're in a relationship, that's what we call cheating, or whatever we call them, whatever we want to name it. That's why it comes cheating, because that other person feels like, I'm trying my best to be faithful to you, I'm doing myself to ward away any form of distraction, but you are entertaining them, you are bringing them into our home, you are bringing them into our space, and they are causing distraction. So don't forget that at the end of the day, sometimes what people don't see is that your actions of your attitude of committing adultery and also cheat on your spouse or whatever it is can cause your partner to even sin. Some people might even want to abort their children because of the way their children, their spouse are behaving. Some people might turn into a bad boy, a bad girl. Some people might lose even faith in God. Some people might even lose their path. The person might not longer be able to focus on their destiny because there's some kind of distraction. You are always crying, you feel hurt, betrayed, you don't even see the essence of being in that kind of relationship anymore, and you might lose your focus and all of that. And sometimes you might even end up dragging your children into the mess that you're creating here and there. So the most important thing for you to know is that you are the one sinning, you are the one causing the chaos. And don't forget what the word says, that we will all be judged. So you thinking that you're hurting your wife or your husband, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, you're actually not hurting them. They are feeling the pain because of the betrayal that you are, you've shown to them. Like you can't be trusted, because they first of all trusted you, but you have shown to them a different character and behavior, and it's very painful, all of that. So they are sad and unhappy about it because of the betrayal. But there's more to it than just betrayal. You are sinning before God, you are hurting somebody before God. Don't forget that aside you causing your spouse or your girlfriend or boyfriend to also sin in a particular way, if the person is kind of weak in faith or weak in character, don't forget that the people you are engaging, you are also helping them to sin against God. So if, for example, you're a married man or a married woman and you are engaging another person, another man or another woman, you are helping them to sin against against God. You are helping them to commit adultery, because they are doing what is wrong, because they are entering into a covenant. They're intruding into a covenant that's between you and your spouse and God. So they are sinning against God, and it's because of your engagement with them. Because if they like you and they won't sleep with you, if you don't agree to it, they can't come and force you, they can't come and rape you. Do you get it? So once you begin to engage them, you are also helping them to sin. So don't forget that you have your own life to attest to, account for. You are sinning against your own body. You are also causing your spouse to sin, or your boyfriend, girlfriend to sin. Aside that, the other person that you're engaging is you're also being accountable for their lifestyle. Okay, so don't forget that you are the one going to stand before God. You are not going to go before God with your spouse for you to say, oh, my spouse was doing this, the reason why I was cheating, or because of this thing and that's the reason I'm cheating. No, it's just you and God. So don't think that you cheating or whatever you're doing is a game and it's fun and you're enjoying it, and your spouse is the one complaining. I don't care, whatever you say, you can do whatever you want to do. It's my own life, I want to live my own life. Oh, you're not cooking for me, that's why I'm cheating. You're not doing this for me, that's why. Well, it's that person has their life to account for. you are going to account for it, because you are the one messing up the whole relationship. You are the one sinning, causing other people to sin. Your spouse to sin, you cause other people to sin as well. So don't forget that it's not a game. You're actually setting up your own trap, and you are just adding to your bad lifestyle. You're just adding to, you know, the chaos that you've already created in your past. As you grow up, I always say, as you grow up, to my friends, that as you grow up, you should, you know, try as much as possible to lessen your mistakes. When you are aging, you should rather try to, you know, clean your mess. Whilst you're aging, clean your mess, because whilst we're young, there's so much things that we did that we were not aware of. As you're maturing, you now know that this thing you're doing is wrong. So you should rather be clearing your mess. But what we see in some people's life, whilst they are growing, they are rather making much more of a mess. When would you clear that mess behind you? Is it when you're 60 years and you're old? Is it when you're 70 years? Is it when you're 18 years, or whatever it is? So why is that you don't want to clear your mess right now, so that you can rebuild a future? Because if you don't clear your mess, don't forget that you have children, and your life is linked to them, and some of them might even come and pay for the mess that you have already created. So the best thing for you to do right now, as a spouse, man or woman, as a boyfriend or girlfriend, learn how to exhibit faithfulness if you have agreed to be in one relationship with your partner. If not, that is between you and partner. I'm not talking about those kind of people, but I'm talking about a Christian relationship, or one relationship, a relationship where you guys have agreed to be together and not allow any kind of, you know, intrusion and all of that. It says you are accountable for your own life. We will all stand before God and account for each and every one of our lives. You and I will account for our lives. I'm not going to account for your life. Before God is not going to call me and ask me, why didn't you do this, or why didn't you do that? I'm going to stand before God and account for my own life. I'm not going to answer to your questions, to the questions that God has for you. I'm not going to say that when God is asking, let's say my husband, my boyfriend, why did you do this? You can't come and call me and say, hey, she wasn't cooking for me, or she wasn't giving me this, or she wasn't giving me that. That's the reason why I'll be in the line waiting to also answer my own questions. So if you are sinning and you're adding on to your own life, remember that you will stand before God one day. So lessen the mistakes that you're making in life. Faithfulness is a good thing. If you can't, do not engage anyone's daughter or son. Okay? Love you guys. Please do not forget to subscribe, share, okay, and like for me. See you later.